Psalms 23, a psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 23 is known to be David's prayer for comfort, peace, and trust. Below is a short synopsis of David's prayer. We will then unwrap several questions around this prayer. Psalm 23, often attributed to King David, is one of the most well-known and beloved passages in the Bible, found in the book of Psalms in the Old Testament. It is a poetic prayer that expresses deep trust in God as a source of comfort, peace, and guidance, even in the face of life's challenges. Here's a synopsis. The psalm begins with the famous line, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," establishing God as a caring and protective figure likened to a shepherd who ensures his flock lacks nothing. This imagery reflects a relationship of dependence and provision, where God leads the speaker to green pastures and still waters, symbolizing rest, nourishment, and tranquility. The phrase, "He restores my soul," suggests spiritual renewal, while he leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake, emphasizes God's guidance toward a virtuous life motivated by his own glory. The tone shifts in verse 4 to acknowledge life's darker moments. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This line conveys unwavering trust in God's presence and protection during times of danger or despair. With your rod and your staff, they comfort me, symbolizing discipline and support. The psalm then transitions to a scene of abundance and security. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, illustrating God's provision and honor even amidst adversity. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows, signifies blessing and joy beyond measure. It concludes with a confident affirmation of faith. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever, expressing hope in God's enduring love and the promise of eternal communion with him. In essence, Psalm 23 is a prayer that encapsulates trust in God's provision, protection, and presence, offering comfort and peace to those who recite or reflect on it, regardless of circumstances. We will unwrap 4 questions about Psalm 23, David's prayer for comfort, peace, and trust. What could be said good about David's prayer? What might be said bad or unsettling about David's prayer? What does this prayer tell us about God in David's prayer? Who could be helped by sharing David's prayer? What could be said good about Psalm 23, David's prayer for comfort, peace, and trust? Psalm 23, often called "The Lord is my shepherd," has been cherished for centuries, and for good reason. Here are some of the positive aspects that can be said about it. Universal comfort. Its imagery of a shepherd caring for his flock resonates deeply, offering solace to people across cultures and eras. The idea that someone or something greater is watching over you, ensuring you're not alone, is profoundly reassuring, especially in tough times. Simple yet profound. The language is straightforward: green pastures, still waters, a guiding rod, but it carries layers of meaning. It's accessible to anyone, yet rich enough to invite endless reflection on life, faith, and resilience. Emotional range. It doesn't shy away from darkness, but pairs it with hope. This balance makes it relatable, acknowledging fear and struggle while promising peace and protection. Timeless hope. The closing lines, "with goodness and mercy following and dwelling in the house of the Lord forever," lift the spirit. It's an optimistic vision of life and beyond, giving people something to hold on to, no matter their circumstances. Versatility. It's a prayer, a poem, a meditation, whatever you need it to be. People turn to it at funerals for comfort, in daily life for strength, or in joy for gratitude. Its adaptability is a quiet kind of brilliance. Personal connection. The repeated use of my shepherd, my soul, my head, makes it intimate. It feels like a one-on-one conversation with the divine, fostering a sense of individual worth and care. What might be said bad or unsettling about the Psalm 23, David's prayer for comfort, peace, and trust? While Psalm 23 is widely revered, it's not immune to critique or skepticism, especially depending on one's perspective. Here are some potential criticisms or shortcomings that might be raised. Overly idealistic. The psalm paints a rosy picture, green pastures, still waters, overflowing cups, which can feel disconnected from the harsh realities many face, like persistent suffering, poverty, or injustice. It might seem naive or dismissive to those whose lives don't reflect such provision or peace. Passive tone. The speaker relies entirely on God to lead, provide, and protect, which could be seen as promoting passivity or dependence rather than personal agency. Some might argue it discourages taking initiative or grappling with life's challenges head-on. Theological bias. It assumes a benevolent shepherd-like God, which doesn't resonate with everyone. Atheists, agnostics, or followers of non-monotheistic beliefs might find it irrelevant or exclusive, limiting its universal appeal despite its widespread use. Vague on suffering. While it mentions the valley of the shadow of death, it quickly brushes past it with, I will fear no evil, and offers no real exploration of pain or doubt. Critics might say it glosses over the complexity of human struggle, providing a too easy answer. Repetition fatigue. Its popularity, recited at countless funerals, services, and events, can make it feel cliché or worn out. For some, overexposure dulls its impact, rendering it more sentimental than profound. Historical context gap. Attributed to David, a warrior king, it's odd that it lacks any hint of conflict or struggle beyond a vague shadow. Some might question its authenticity or wonder if it's too polished to reflect the gritty life of its supposed author. Promises unfulfilled, the assurance of goodness and mercy, or dwelling in the house of the Lord forever, might ring hollow for those who see no evidence of divine care in their lives. It could be accused of setting up false expectations that reality often contradicts. These points don't necessarily diminish its value for believers or admirers, but they highlight how Psalm 23, like anything, isn't beyond scrutiny. It's a product of its time and faith, and not everyone will find it fits their worldview or experience. What does this prayer tell us about God in Psalm 23, David's prayer for comfort, peace, and trust? Psalm 23 offers a vivid portrayal of God through its poetic imagery and the relationship it describes between the divine and the speaker. Here's what the prayer suggests about God's character and role. Provider. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Cast God as a caretaker who ensures all needs are met. The references to green pastures and still waters imply abundance and sustenance, painting God as a generous source of both physical and spiritual nourishment. Guide. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake, presents God as a purposeful leader, directing the speaker toward a moral, upright life. This guidance isn't random, it's tied to God's own reputation and honor, suggesting a deliberate and trustworthy hand at work. Protector. In the valley of the shadow of death, God's presence and tools offer safety and comfort. The rod defends against threats, while the staff gently corrects or supports, showing God as both a shield and a steadying force in dark times. Comforter. He restores my soul, and they comfort me highlight God's role in renewing and soothing the weary or broken. This restorative quality points to a compassionate, attentive nature, attuned to emotional and spiritual well-being. Host and blesser. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Depict God as a lavish host who honors and blesses the speaker, even under hostile scrutiny. This suggests a God who delights in uplifting and rewarding loyalty, defying adversity, ever present. The shift from third person to second person in the psalm emphasizes God's closeness. This intimacy implies a personal, constant companion rather than a distant deity, eternal and merciful. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Reveals a God of unwavering kindness and grace, committed to the speaker's lifelong and eternal care. It's a promise of enduring relationship and ultimate security. In summary, Psalm 23 portrays God as a multifaceted figure, a shepherd who provides, guides, and protects, a companion who comforts and blesses, and a divine presence offering unending mercy and a forever home. It's a vision of God as both powerful and tender, intimately involved in the individual's journey through life and beyond. Who could be helped by sharing the prayer in Psalm 23, David's prayer for comfort, peace, and trust? Psalm 23 has a broad reach, and sharing it could offer support or encouragement to a variety of people, depending on their circumstances and needs. Here's who might find it particularly helpful: those facing fear or uncertainty. The line, "I will fear no evil, for you are with me," speaks directly to anyone anxious about the unknown, whether it's illness, loss, or a looming crisis. It offers a sense of companionship and courage in dark times, people in grief. Often recited at funerals, the Psalm's imagery of God's presence and the promise of dwelling in the house of the Lord forever can comfort those mourning a loved one, providing hope beyond death. Individuals seeking peace. With "He leads me beside still waters, and He restores my soul," it's a balm for the stressed, overwhelmed, or burned out. It's like a verbal deep breath for anyone craving calm amid life's chaos. The spiritually inclined. Believers, especially in Judeo-Christian traditions, might find it a reinforcing reminder of God's care. It's a touchstone for faith, deepening trust in divine guidance and provision. Survivors of adversity. "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies" could resonate with those who've endured hardship or opposition, offering a vision of triumph and honor despite their struggles. Caregivers or supporters. Someone comforting a friend or family member might share it to pass along its soothing words. It's a way to say you're not alone without needing to craft something original. People feeling lost. The guidance in paths of righteousness could appeal to those searching for direction, morally, emotionally, or practically, suggesting a steady hand to follow. The elderly or terminally ill. The promise of goodness and mercy through life and an eternal home might ease fears about aging or death, offering a gentle perspective on what's ahead. Anyone appreciating beauty, even outside a religious context, its poetic flow and vivid imagery might the spirits of someone who simply enjoys language or needs a moment of inspiration. It's not a one-size-fits-all fix. Skeptics or those in unrelenting pain might not connect, but its simplicity and depth make it a versatile tool for encouragement. Sharing it could help anyone open to its message of trust, rest, and enduring care, especially when they're at a low point or seeking something solid to lean on.